Hi everybody, this is Sheila. Welcome back to the Crochet Nurse channel. Today what we're going to do is we are going to create together this crossbody bag. It measures roughly 9 to 10 inches across, almost 10 inches across, and then 7 to 8 inches tall. Okay, has a front flap, and then it also has roughly a 50-inch long strap, as you can see there, and the length, of course, you can modify that based on your height. Okay, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell. For items that you will need to create this, I used Impeccable from Michaels. You do not have to use Impeccable, but certainly you'd want to use some type of a 4-weight yarn. This happens to be in the colorway of Smoke, and I used roughly 150 grams or 350 yards. This is what's left of my Sink-It ball to create that bag. Also, for the strap and the trim, for that I used Red Heart Super Saver in the color Blanco, which is white. 100 yards or 50 grams of that. You will also need a pair of scissors, and we are going to use we're going to use a J hook. You can get it in there, a J hook, and you'll see me change back and forth between the J hook, that this is a clover, over to other hooks that I have, just because this head size is a little short and I'll be going in for a longer head size, so you'll be seeing me do that. But it is going to be a J hook that we're going to be using. And then we also need a couple of stitch markers. Okay. Alright, we're going to start by working on the body of the bag. So grab your hook and yarn, make a slip knot, and chain 1. And from here, we're going to work right back into that chain 1 space. Okay, so pull up the yarn about a 1/2 inch, yarn over, and then go right back into that chain 1 space, yarn over, and pull up that loop. And now you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, go in, same space, pull up, and now you have 5. One more time, yarn over, go in, pull back, and now you have 7 loops on your hook. Alright, at this point we're going to need to pull through all this like a puff stitch, so we're going to pull through all, but there's a little caveat. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch my fingers, push your finger right here to hold on and prevent the yarn from going completely through. Reach up, grab the yarn, and then pull through all 7 strands. The first one can be a little tricky. Now I'm on that back side. Now that I have that and you see my finger is still there, push into the yarn. I'm letting go, you see I'm letting go. I'm going to tighten it down, grabbing, going through my first loop, coming back up, yarn over, and then go through and do a chain. Do that, going through the second one, I'm tightening down, chain 1. And now I've just finished my first bobble. And that's what it'll look like. Alright, we're ready for the second one. Alright, and where we're going to go in after you created this first bobble is right there. You have a space right at the top that you created. So we're going to do the same thing. Stretch a little bit, yarn over, go right into that space, pull up. There's 3 on the hook, yarn over, go in, pull up. We now have 5. One more time, yarn over, pull up. We now have 7. And that's what it'll look like. And now we're ready to adjust our fingers. So I'm going to grab it, stick my finger here, reach over with my hook, grab it, and pull through all. My finger is still there. Reach back over, Now that I have it back on the hook, I'm going to tighten it down. Yarn over and go through the first one. And then yarn over and go through. And then once you're through of that, you've completed the second one. You pull down and you're tightening it, and that's your second one. Chain one, and you're ready for the third. You will do this for a total of 19 times to make the bag to be a 10 by 8. It's 18. Yeah, let's create our 19th one here. 1, 2, and 3. And get your finger in there. Once you get going on these, it actually is quite fast. Alright, so after the 19th one is created, we are actually going to create one more, because this is what your chain should look like. And you're actually going to create one more, and the next one is actually going to be the turning chain to go up the side. So go ahead and chain one, and then create number 20. 1, 2, 3. Put your finger in there. Tighten it down. Do the one. And in there, and chain one. And this one was we're going to start our turn. Okay, so we're going to start the same way. By that we just did our chain one, so we're going to stretch up, and we're going to go in to the top of that, just like we've been doing. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to go into our next space that's down here. Leave these 7 on the hook, and we've just did this space. Now we're going to go in and start on this space, and we're going to go in and out 3 times on this space. So same thing. 1, 2, your hook's going to get pretty crowded, and 3. And then that's the second space, and then one more space, the next space in line, you're going to do the same thing. Yarn over and go in and out 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And the first time you do that, this is going to be kind of tough. And actually, this is why I switched from the clover to a Hobby Lobby hook, because the head's just not big enough here. But now that you've done that, you have 3 in each. Same process. You're going to go in, put your finger in the way, grab your yarn, and you're going to pull it through all. Just like that. Same process. Then you're going to stick it onto your hook here, and you're going to really want to tighten this down. You're going to want to tug to tighten this down, or you're going to have big holes. Once it's tightened down, same process. Yarn over, go through the first one, and then yarn over and go through both. And I tighten down again, and that's what it should look like. Chain one, same process. Now we still have there's our hole again. As soon as we do our chain one, we see our hole. Yank up. 1, 2, 3. Now I've got this hole covered. Now I want to find my next hole. It's right there. I'm going to go in 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That's my second one. I have one more. Going into the next space. 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to have a lot of yarn on your hook. Okay, same process. Get your finger up there, block it, flip your hook over, and then pull it through. Some of them you're going to have to wiggle your way through, like I'm going to have to wiggle on this one, I can tell, because I didn't pull it tight enough. There it is. You have to wiggle your way through. There it is. I got it. Go back, get the yarn again, let it go, and then pull it tight. Okay, then yarn over, pull it up, and then go through both. Now, if you got arthritic hands, this is going to do a number on your hands. And that's what it looks like. And you have the bottom half, you can see the bottom half of your star is beginning to form. And that's the process that you're going to do all the way to the end. Alright, I'm at the end of the row, and so I have my 3 remaining, so I'm going to pull up my yarn and go 1, 2, 3, second one from the end there, 1, 2, and 3, and then my last ones are going to go right in that final piece of that stitch there. So I'm going to yarn over and go right in there. 1, kind of get around it. 2, and there's my third one. And same process we've been doing. Get my finger in the way. And you noticed I switched my hook because the other one was trying to get that clover in and out of there was getting problematic. And so I switched. There we go. Got it done. I'm going to tighten it down. Get that. And finish off. Okay. And that would have been my last one in the row. Same process. Chain 1. And now we're going to turn. And so there's the beginning on this side. We done our chain 1, so we're going to pull up and do our 1, 2, and 3. And then once we have the 1, 2, 3, we're going to get our finger in there because this is our turning chain, remember? Tighten it down. Get in there. And then get in there. And now we're ready for the row 3. So now it's going to be the same process. Chain 1, and then we're going to go in 3 in here, and that opens us up. There's our next space, 3 in there, and then 3 in there, and then we're going to continue all the way across. But at each end of the row, you want to make your turning chain just like this, just the way we did just now, and that'll take care of that. And you want to continue on. You want to complete 12 rows. This was the first row. This was row 2. You are just now starting on row 3. So to get the, this is going to be the height of your bag. To get the width of your bag, you're going to complete 12 rows. And once you're done with that, I will meet you back. Alright, I made it to my desired row width. I did not do full 12. I did 7 because I already have my big part of my bag done. So, and if you did 12, fantastic. If not, like I say, this is going to be your height. And when you did the rows that you were building up is going to be the width of your bag. Okay, so let's continue on. We're at the end of the row, so we're just going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn. And the plan from here is you're going to do a row of single crochet all the way around the piece. Do a single crochet on top of this guy here, on top of the bobble, and then a single crochet in each crevice. And you'll do that all the way around. When you get back to the area here where you've come back around, slip stitch into here, chain one, and then do a row of half double crochet all the way around. And then when you get back, slip stitch, and then you can bind off. And when you're finished with that, come on back and we will work on the strap. All right, once you have your row of single crochet done and then your half double crochet row done, this, after you bind up, you can just set this aside. Grab your white yarn and your hook, and we're going to start to work on the strap. And so for the strap, and this is the original piece here, you can see that it sits all the way down here at the bottom, goes up all the way around obviously your shoulder, and then attaches on the other side way at the bottom over here. Okay, so for me to get from one side to the other, and I'm average size individual, I chained 153. So once you chain, create a slip knot and chain 153, toss it around across your neck and see if that's a good fit. But whatever chain you end up with, make sure that you end on an odd number. 151, 152, and 153. And I already know that's a good length for me. From here, what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then all the way down the chain. I'm completing my last stitch of the row. Once you get there, chain one and turn. And from here, you're not going to put anything in this first stitch, but in the second one, you're going to put a puff stitch. Do that, yarn over, go in, yarn over a second time, and yarn over a third time. And let's, like a lot what we've been doing. The difference is your finger, we're not going to use our finger now. What we're going to do, we have 7 chains on the hook. We're just going to yarn over a final time and pull it through. Pull it through and lock it down. And chain 1, skip a stitch, and then go in the next stitch and do the same thing. So yarn over, in and out 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over a final time, pull through all 7. Yarn over, pull through to lock it down. Chain 1, skip 1, and do in the next stitch. Do that all the way down the chain. When you reach the end, you will have 2 stitches remaining, and in that final stitch, you want to put in a half double crochet, chain 1, and turn. Once we make it to the other side, we're going to yarn over, and in that very first hole, we're going to put a puff stitch, 2, 3, and then in each chain space all the way down the chain, we're going to put a puff stitch, and then when you reach the other end, you again are going to have 2 stitches that remain at the end. You'll put your last puff stitch in here, chain 1, and then you put a half double crochet here. I've completed my last puff stitch, and then I need to chain 1, and then right in that final turn and chain down there, I'm going to put a half double crochet, chain 1, and turn. And for this row, what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet across. And so for each chain 1 space is going to get a single crochet, and then on top of each little puff is also going to be a single crochet. And you're going to work that all the way down the chain, and when you get to the end, you can fasten off. Alright, so now we have the main body part of our strap done. You can see it matches up pretty well, and this also, by the way, is how we're going to do the front flap when we get there. But anyway, what we're going to work on now is this design that's in here. So grab your contrasting color, and I'm using still the Impeccable, so I'm grabbing that, and here's what you want to do. As you know, my strap measures roughly 50 inches long. I want to cut off 4 times the length of yarn as the length of my strap. So my strap is 50 inches long, so I cut off 200 inches of the impeccable yarn. Then you can either do this using a darning needle or by hand, but I put mine on a darning needle and I doubled it, and so you can see it's a double strand, and this is 200 inches long. Get down here to the end, and I just put a little slip knot there at the end just to kind of hold on to it in case I'm guessed wrong. But anyway, from here what we're going to do is you're just going to start weaving it in. So I'm going to go this way. So I'm just going to start weaving this in, going in. There's all my yarn over there. And basically going in and out like this. And you can see that it's going to create a double. And I'm only going one direction, so you can see here. Let me move this. So I'm going in this direction. And it'll go fast as far as stringing it. What's going to take you a while, let me do this one here, is you're going to have to go back and pull the string through, right? Or just do what I plan on doing and just pull it all through as you go. But this is only one strand. This is your first strand. I say go ahead and do what I'm doing here, and you can see it's starting to make half of the design. So go ahead and cut your yarn, double strand it, tie it at the end, and then go ahead and string it along as I'm doing. And when you get to the end, then meet me back and we'll talk about what we need to do next. Alright, I'm finished with my first pass, and this is what it looks like. It's actually coming out quite nice. Now, a word to the wise, and I know most of the pros out there already know this, but make sure that your ends are on the back side, that they come out at the same place. So that way, if this is going to be my back side here, this is going to be the part up against my body, and all my ends are on the same side. And you are absolutely free to get your ends in here like you see me doing here, because we still have this border to put around it that will hide any of these loose ends that you have on there. So after you've completed that piece, we need to move on to do our second wave. And so to do that, you're going to cut another length, and hopefully you guessed right on your first length. Mine was 200 inches, and so I have it on my hook again. And we're going to just go in the opposite direction. This one was going this way, so now I'm going to go this direction. So it's going to go in just like that and come in for this direction. I'm trying to do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. And that's what it'll start to look like. Move it away. So again, you'll have to loosen up. You're a pro now at this, so you have to loosen up your strings to get it in there. There we go. And then you're just going to go in and go the other direction. And what you want to be careful of is, and you already learned that on the first one, is making sure you don't get your string knotted up, because that can be problematic. And just continue on to the end. And it's going to be the same as before. Once you get to the end of this, go ahead and tie it off, but that's what it'll look like. And there is the pattern that is on here. So I got my sink it round finished, and that is what it's looking like at this point. So grab your primary color. For me, it's my gray. Put the yarn on the hook there, and we are going to make our trim. What we're going to do is basically a single crochet all the way around, but it's going to be with a little bit of a twist. Instead of going for the top piece here, we're actually going to go for the space below where you would traditionally go for a single crochet. So let's attach our hook here. We would typically attach it up there. We're not going to. I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to begin. So it's going to be one single crochet in each chain one space, and then one above each puff, but you're not going to go in the single crochet space, you're going to go into the one below it. So I'm going to go down here and go in there. I'm not going to go above it. You can see I have two. There's my single crochet. I'm going to go the one below it. And that's what you're going to do all the way around, including the two ends, because we need to get some gray around those two ends, to cover up what we've done down there as far as our extra pieces, but we also need to get some stitches in there. When you get to your ends, you should have 5 or 6. I have 6 on mine, stitches from here to here. And this is going to be at the bottom of your bag when we get done. So go ahead and do a single crochet as I'm showing you here, not in the top loop, but below it. Go in and grab those, one in each space, and then one on top of the puff all the way around. Don't forget to chain one when you get to your corners, and make it around the corners, and at least 5 stitches, if not 6, on each of your end. When you get back around, slip stitch to join, and we will have completed the band. Once you get all the way around, bind off, weave in your ends, and we are ready to attach the strap to the bag. All right, we're ready to attach, so grab your body portion of your bag and your strap. You will also need your stitch markers, so get them handy as well. So I shared with you a couple of times that you're going to fold over your bag this way. You're going to match up the stitch. You're going to match them up. Decide which side you want to be your good side and bad side. You want your good side out and facing. This is also going to be the front. So then we want to, I have 6 stitches at my end, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you want to count how many you have at your end, if it's 5 or it's 6. What we're going to do at that point, make sure our stitches are lined up here. And then we're going to push in here. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my 5th and there's my 6th. And then I'm going to pop a stitch marker in there, because that's my 6th one on that side. And that's number 6 over there. All right, and then from there, this is actually going to be the bottom section of my bag, so it's going to sit like that. Now I'm ready to attach this. So I have to get my 6 stitches across here. I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's this one. I need to attach it, so I'm just going to unhook here. I'm going to attach right back into it. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. And that's going to be where the bottom of your bag is going to hook up, like that. Once you get the bottom stitch markers in, go ahead and line up your stitches along the top and pop a stitch marker there as well, so that way you'll know where you're going. And then we're ready to flip it over, get everything out of the way, and we're ready to begin. So I've already put my stitch marker over here to start. So that's the stitch I want to go above. And you're going to want to sew, link them together from the top of the bag, from the top of the bag all the way around to the top again. And so let's get your yarn on your hook, and I'm going to go right below there and go in there. And we are going to slip stitch all the way around using both loops. I'll get my stitch marker out of the way, but that'll give us that nice ridge that I showed you on my bag over there. But it'll give a nice ridge. So slip stitch all the way around, and when you finish this side, you want to go do the exact same thing on the other side. And when you get done with that, come on back, and we will finish off with the front flap. I have my strap attached to my bag, and it's looking pretty good. So what we need to do now is look at completing the front flap. So let's take a look at the original piece, and so we can see what it looked like. So here that is. Okay. And so on this piece you can see that the front flap is pretty much identical to the strap. We start out with a row of single crochet, 2 rows of bobble, and then another row of single crochet. And then the design itself in here in the center is the same as well, and so that's going to be the same. And then we finish up by doing a row of single crochet of the gray here, which is also the same here. And what's different is that in addition to that row of gray, we do a final row of white single crochet on the front flap. That's one difference. The second difference is the stitch count. For the band, we did a stitch count of 153. For the front flap, it's going to be a stitch count of 15 is going to be the stitch count. So you have a couple of options. You can either go back into the video at marker 15 minutes and 30 seconds and re-watch the pieces where I talk about how to do this, or go follow the instructions that are on the screen, which is what I just reviewed with you, which is chain 15, row of single crochet, 2 rows of puff stitches, another row of single crochet, round the whole thing with the gray, and then other change is going to be round the whole thing with white after you've actually done the complete the crisscross pattern. And so because it's a chain 15 and it's roughly going to be 5 inches long, you're going to want 2 20-inch lengths of yarn. Then attach it to the middle of your bag in the back, and once you're done with that, it should look something like that. Okay, good luck everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Have a great day.